Welcome back to 12 Talk, the UK Seahawks official podcast. And this is going to be our ultimate Seahawks fan draft. We've got some amazing 12s that are going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about their top 3 players that they think are going to be Seahawks and why they're going to be Seahawks. We're going to be talking all through that. We'll be taking your questions as well. Comments, super chats are open, so don't be shy. By all means, pop them in there and then we will get them up on the screen. If you're new to this, by all means, you can like the video. It helps us massively. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you get the option to hype it, give it a hype. Why not? And if you want to talk to us or any of the fine members that are going to be on this podcast today, you can join our Discord. It's completely free, and the link is in the pod description down below. But without further ado, I want to get talking to these boys. So come along with me and let's talk some Seahawks draft. Here we are with my guests for this evening. Returning guests, Jonas and Ben, and a first-timer, John. Welcome to 12 Talk, my friend.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. So, Jonas, Ben, you've had your time in the limelight. We'll get to you in a second. John, for anyone who doesn't know you or doesn't know sort of why you're on the pod, tell everyone why you're a Seahawks fan, why you love this team, and what your highlights are as a fan.
It's all my eldest son's fault in that in 2018 he said, Dad, I need you to buy me a ticket to go to Wembley. So I said, why? He says, because I've been following the Seahawks and they're coming to play a game against the Raiders at Wembley. So I said, well, okay, I'll get the tickets, but I'm going to come along. And I'd sort of played Madden as a kid and I'd watched it a bit on Channel 4, but never really got into it. I was a rugby league man. But I sat at the top of Wembley and watched this game unfold like a game of Madden. And it made sense. It made much more sense than every time that I'd ever watched it on the telly. And it was brilliant. And I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. I started watching YouTubes. I started watching on the NFL channels. And yeah, it became my team. And being able to follow them through the last few seasons and the evolution from Pete's time through Mike McDonald and the new sort of generation of Seahawks. It's just been fantastic. I think that the sports science is what's really captivated me. It applies to my inner geek as much as the action on the field. I'm absolutely hooked.
Well, you've joined in our biased opinions the best fan base in the world, following, well, as we know after the last season, the best team in the world.
Yes.
So now you get to come on 12 Talk and we get to talk all about it. So I want to say a massive thank you as well for John, your contribution to our prize raffle as well at the Super Bowl party can't be understated. You've also got some cheeky prizes for us to give at the meetup as well. Look at that.
I told my wife I got a 3D printer for practical purposes, but really it's just
just for Seahawks stuff. That's fine. So there you go. So for anyone who's listening to this, when it goes on Spotify, that is a replica Lombardi trophy and it looks absolutely amazing. John put it up on our Discord and I think there was a few inquiries about it already. So I expect a few more, I think. Jonas, you're back. Our resident German Seahawker. How are you doing? Nice cap, by the way, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I decided to buy one. I don't know if anyone else bought one. I don't know. Something happened.
Yeah.
No, I'm good actually. It's it's been a long off season. It's ready to go. Consuming a lot of Seahawks content, and yeah, we're getting ready to go with the German Seahawks as well, celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. So big things to come. And also just a little hint, we might expand on it in the coming weeks. We actually updated our German Seahawks roster builder 2.0. So it's going to come. It's really good. It updates automatically now, so we don't have to slide out some UDFAs or something. It's going directly into the ESPN database, and Mitch and yourself can fool around a bit with it on the pod. So
we'll
really
have
going
you
to enjoy
back on as soon as this draft is over and we start talking about what this roster is going to look like. We'll have you back on and you can run us through that, no problems, and then you can let everyone else know where they can find it. And Ben, you're back.
I am.
Big contributor in our Discord, always in the comments, always making a snidey remark about me hating people that can't tackle. I'm sorry, I'm an ex-rugby player. I can't help it. We don't all play flag football.
Yeah, that's fair. Ready for the flag season?
I was going to say representing your flag football team there. I like it.
Season starts next week.
Is it next week? Oh, my God.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Right. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it and seeing the replay videos in the Discord.
They'll be coming.
A few little one-handed interceptions, mate. That'd be lovely. But gents, we are here to talk draft. Now, as we all know, the Seahawks, having won the Super Bowl, pick at number 32. So the top end first round graded talent may be gone. But I think we as Seahawks fans all know there's going to be players there that I think John and Mike McDonald will be wanting to draft. So we're going to start this off very quickly with your top player. So out of the prospects that are there, who do you think we should go for at number 32? We're going to start with you, Jonas, and then we'll work round to John and Ben. So Jonas, tell us who it is, why, and why are they going to fit as a Seahawk?
Yeah, I actually got a player who the Seahawks stopped drafting for need, but they kind of have a need right now. But it's also, in my opinion, if they get to 32, like we're pretending that they won't swap picks or something. So if they get to 32 and if he's there, I think John and Mike will race to the podium and get the card in. And I'm talking about Adrian Terrell, cornerback from Clemson. Yeah, he's just he was projected to be he's cornerback 4, I think, in Dane Brugler's beast. So he has him in the first or second round, but he was supposed to be a mid first rounder, but he pulled a hamstring at his pro day, and this proceeded to he fell down the board, or he's falling down the board, so he's available there. I think the Seahawks are gonna pick him because he obviously you have Rick Woolen gone, you have Kobe Bryant gone, you gotta upgrade the secondary there, and if the name sounds familiar, he has a brother who was drafted in the first round as well at 16 in 2020 to the Atlanta Falcons. AJ, his brother, he's a All Pro Bowl cornerback for the Falcons. So the skills lie in the family, and the thing that makes him a really good fit for the Seahawks is just his physicality just jumps off the board. If you look at the tape, he's both in against the pass and against the run. So that's obviously one very important thing for Mike McDonald is run stopping. You've seen it with Spoon, you've seen it with Nick Emanwari, and Adrian Terrell can do that as well. He's 5'11", so not the biggest guy in the world, but not really small. And but that's kind of, they're not those really big cornerbacks like really or tall cornerbacks like Rick Woolen. So he might struggle a bit against bigger bodies, and his production is not there. Not as much. He didn't record an interception in his final 21 college games, but he got 3 sacks in 2025, which does remind us a bit of Devon Witherspoon. So yeah, even though he's undersized, he's like really good in those press heavy schemes, and has really good reaction quickness, and projects to be an immediate starter as a rookie. If you want to, or if Mike wants to, pull Devon Witherspoon in at the nickel spot, he will automatically jump outside, and with Josh Jobe as an outside corner. And yeah, I think if he's there, just hand the card in.
No, perfect. Charlie Wilson, who we had on last week doing his top 10, Terrell was on that top 10 list. Somebody said that he played predominantly on the inside nickel, but I think Charlie came back. There's a fantastic response from him to one of the shorts that we posted. Just to totally counteract that, I'd be all over this. We all know my opinions on Rick Woolen. If we've got someone who can, if we've got someone who can tackle, who can play well in the box, the height for me is something that I know you had a draft crush, but I think the height was the biggest issue. Do you want to give your honorable mention now?
I actually got 2 honorable mentions, but the one we're talking about is actually D'Angelo Pons, who's like a mini spoon, but
literally
he plays way bigger than he is. Like he's 5'8", and that's just for an outside corner in the NFL is just too small for me. And he's Devon Witherspoon with like 3 inches smaller. So but I don't think I'd love to see him, but like we have Spoon already, so you want to get 2 of those, and you don't
need a smaller cornerback that is basically going to be predominantly nickel. Especially when you think if he's going to be coming up against some of these 6'8" tight ends, or even some of the bigger wide receivers in the league, you can be fantastic in press man. But if someone raises an arm and they've got 2 foot on you straight away, I don't think it's a recipe for for any success. John, I'm going to cut you off because I know you're going on a rabbit hole with him.
No. I just wanted to say he's not going to compete like in 13 personnel against the Rams. So if he's going up against the tight end, forget about it.
Yeah, as a first round pick, you want him to play the majority of the downs. You wouldn't want him to sort of be situational. And if someone came out in 13 personnel, they go, "Oh, quick, get the small one off." So, right, John, who was your preferred pick at 32?
Right, well, sitting in this august company, I feel very much a fraud because I'm not a draft guru in any respect. I am coming from this exactly as a fan on the terrace who reads the paper, makes his decision, and puts a pen against a horse. And I've had to go the same way as the owners in that I think we've got to draft slightly for need in this first pick, and I wouldn't want to see him trading back. But I've gone to Tennessee and gone Colton Hood at cornerback. Reason being is the same size as Spoon. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds. He's very athletic. He went to Tennessee to be the backup cornerback, and then due to injury ended up being cornerback 1 and handled his business. You watch tape of him and he's sticky. He gets right into his opposition and he's all over them, and he can react, and he leaves his decision making quite late. He'll let the wide receiver commit and then he'll go with them. He's not drawn in and suckered in. And I found his style of play very attractive to a Seahawks type of situation, where he's a physical presence that's going to draw the A game from the receivers. and he can also get in there and mix it with the running backs as well. So, yeah, Colton Hood, I'd be happy to see him.
I like that. That's 2 cornerbacks that have been sort of touted here. Now, as someone who plays cornerback in flag football, well,
Not a safety.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do the quick movement.
Straight line speed, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, straight line something. Ben,
yeah.
who would your pick be at 32?
Oof. I'm gonna keep the cornerback theme going. Name a different one. Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina. He's an athlete.
I've seen his write-up, so I know what's coming.
I know you've seen his write-up. But he's a coverage cornerback. He's pretty sticky on his receivers. He's one of those cornerbacks that is he's a perimeter. He's an outside cornerback, which I think is, if we were going to draft a cornerback, that's the sort of cornerback we need. Looking at what we've got sort of left in that DB room. But yeah, as Josh has alluded to, the one downside is, and everyone that seems to write about him seems to be that his tackle technique's not great. He's missed a few open field tackles. It's a sort of a technique that hopefully our DB coaches can sort of teach him up. I mean, I think we've been quite good on our defensive side of teaching up newish players, draft picks. So I'm pretty confident, if he's a good learner, that he can do that as well. And as I've said to Josh earlier as well, the last defensive back we picked out of South Carolina wasn't too bad. So why not go back there?
I like it as an option. I mean, it's the thing that gets me and will always get me is the tackling.
Yeah.
So if someone's not a good open field tackler at this level, I think there's going to be a lot of question marks about them. You can be fantastic in coverage, but as we saw with Spoon, great in coverage, but when it came to an open field tackle, he was non-existent. And that's something that genuinely worries me. If we're going to spend, a first round pick on someone, I'd rather they were a more complete cornerback. There's issues raised with everyone. Namely, if I say Terrell not being able to get his hands on the ball and getting interceptions, then you've got Cisse, who's not a good open field tackler. I think there's going to be issues regardless there. I'm intrigued now to see what your second and third round picks are going to be. But before I do that, I would just like everyone to stay tuned. And what's this? Thank you for tuning in to the UK Seahawkers official podcast. That's right, we're part of the Seahawkers Booster Club, the official booster club of your Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions. If you're not a UK Seahawker, but you would like to join, it could not be easier. For a one-off membership fee of £12 for an individual or £20 for a family membership up to 4 at the same address, you can get access to such things as our social events, 10% discount at the Seattle Pro Shop. You'll be eligible for game day field passes in Seattle if they're available, access to members-only competitions and our annual selection of goodies. And these have come in fantastic this year. You get your commemorative Super Bowl champions patch. You'll get your wristband. You also get this amazing commemorative coin, and you'll get your membership card. And it couldn't be easier to pay. Either scan the QR code that's currently appearing on the screen. That'll take you straight to the PayPal link. Alternatively, if you can't do that, head over to PayPal, send payment to ukhawkfans12@hotmail.com. Use a friends and family option, and make sure you enter your name and the address that you'd like your goodies posted to in the comments box before payment. And speaking of social events, if you missed out on our Super Bowl watch party, fear not. We have got our 10-year anniversary meetup in conjunction with us at 12 Talk, and that is at the Dean's Gate in Manchester on the 9th of May. Everything starts at 5:30. It's £10 per person. You can pay the exact same way via PayPal or use the QR code below. You can join us for interviews. There'll be giveaways, auctions. There'll be freebies. It'll be an amazing time. If you've not already booked, please do so. I know hotels in Manchester are getting a little bit more pricey, so you may want to book soon. And then you can join us and some of these fantastic 12s from our Super Bowl meetup as we celebrate 10 years of the UK Seahawkers. Go Hawks! There you go. So if you haven't joined the UK Seahawkers yet, you can. Yes, there we go. Shaking our goodies. That commemorative coin is absolutely mega, by the way. I'm so impressed with that. The committee have pulled one out of the bag there. But if you want to join us, we also have a special guest, German Seahawker, who's coming to Manchester. Don't we, Jonas? Yeah. There you go. Get on international
I'm
now.
going to bring some goodies as well. So.
Yes, exactly. And then for those of you that were here earlier and you saw that Lombardi that John has kindly had printed for us, and there's something else as well. He's going to be sending that my way to bring along to go as part of the raffle. So you could also bid on that. If you can give anything to the raffle, it'd be fantastic. We raised over £700 for the Robin Cancer Trust at the Super Bowl party, and this one will be for McDonald's House, which is the UK Seahawkers' chosen charity. But gentlemen, round 2. I'm intrigued to see, after all cornerbacks in round 1, I'm really intrigued to see where we go to with round 2. And I think you've all addressed that one need, which we know is cornerback. There's a few other needs now, namely people have been looking at edge, people have been looking at potential interior O-line. You've also got, some people have said we need another safety to put into the rotation now that Kobe Bryant's gone. But I've got full faith in Tyre Carter to be in that rotation. I am a Tyre Carter guy. I think he just hits people. But shall we see what you guys are doing? So, Jonas, in the second round, the Seattle Seahawks will pick
a curveball. I got them actually picking best player available here, and sometimes you gotta add strength to strength in the NFL, and I got them bolstering the interior defensive line with defensive tackle Caleb Banks from Florida. He's an absolute beast. He's 23 years old. He's 6'6". As a defensive tackle, 327 pounds. Played 5 years in college, and we seen in the Super Bowl what arm length can do against T-Rex armed offensive tackle. And that's one of his strengths. He just got exceptional arm length. He's just raw power all over. He can put blockers on skates, literally, if you watch the tape. And he's not. A lot of people were talking about Caden McDonald, who also had a 30 visit in Seattle, but he's more like a nose tackle, and Banks is more like an interior rusher. He didn't have as much production in college, but if you imagine a world where Leo and Jay Reed retire. You have an interior D line with Riley Mills, Byron Murphy, who plays the nose tackle position already, and Caleb Banks. You would have a really young core at D line. Problem with Caleb Banks is that he's sadly a bit injury prone, and that's why he's falling down the board. He has blue chip potential, really, but he can be had in at the end of the second round. He had problems with his foot. He injured his foot in spring training in 2025, and then fully snapped it because he fell and had to get surgery, re-aggravated it in the season, and then fractured his foot again at the combine, but which speaks to his character a bit. He didn't really notice it until the end, so he went through all the combine drills with the broken foot, and this will probably sideline him until June 2026. So he's not going to be part of OTAs, but it's just that's kind of bit of a downside. And he's a bit injury prone, and he lacks production. But about injury prone players, I think there's someone called JSN who had a hamstring problem in college, and he turned out to be fine. So and the Seahawks are good. Yeah, sorry.
Can we just address that JSN hamstring thing? Because I was reading today, I think we all have. For those of you that don't know, when JSN was playing at Ohio State, he was wearing US 12 cleats, so UK 11. He then goes to the league after they, obviously drafted him knowing he had these hamstring issues, and they did a foot scan, and he's now gone down to a US 10.5. So the boy was playing with cleats that are a size and a half too big. Now, anyone who's played a sport that involves cleats, maybe you'll go up half a size. If you're playing in cold weather, like if you're a rugby player or something, you might want to add an extra pair of socks and it won't rub too much. But a size and a half is ridiculous. Who is the equipment manager at Ohio State? They need sacking. Get in the bin. You could have ruined this young man's career. Luckily, he came to the Seahawks, and as John mentioned, with our sports science division, they've sorted that out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I heard them talking about that like it was a revolution in sports psychology and testing, that they measured his feet. My mum used to go to Clark's.
To Clark's.
And you'd stand on the little machine and it'd go. I'm about to get my school shoes when I was 6, and I'm about 110 now.
I think it makes his Rose Bowl performance. I think it makes his Rose Bowl performance even more impressive that he did it in clown shoes.
Yeah, I was literally about to say.
And he didn't fall over.
Exactly. Someone I read online on one of the comments was he had an insurance policy specifically excluding slips and trips. I just thought that was mental. But I mean, Banks is someone that he appears on pretty much every draft board for a mock draft that I go on. But I'm hyper aware of his injury history. And when you think about sort of the pillars for Mike McDonald being smart, tough, reliable, when someone's that injury prone, regardless of having a blue chip potential, injuries can ruin that. And I could see why you'd want to draft him. I don't think he'd be worth a second round pick. That's my only issue. And I think other teams may look at it, unless you're a dumpster fire like the Browns or the Jets, who go, yeah, he'll be amazing, and then they'll ruin him anyway. I think a lot of other teams will be very, very tentative. I mean, I've seen some of his tape, since I've started doing this series without Mitch, who's off having his baby now. We will get an update at some point. But yeah, once I've started doing this, I started actually doing a little bit of research and watching some film when I got the chance. And some of his film when he's fit is fantastic. But it is just that injury, just the history does concern me. And you don't want to be, spending a day 2 pick on someone that is going to be a Darrell Taylor injured for the first season. John, who did you have?
I'm following on a little bit from Jonas again, in that I liked Banks, but had the same reservations about his injuries. So I went with another Captain Caveman and Jennings Dunker from Iowa, who I think would just be a ridiculous fit for this team. I mean, the comedy value alone of seeing the lineup in the team photo will be just superb. He's 6'5", he's 300 and odd pounds. He's got bright ginger hair in a mullet.
The most glorious mullet.
Two-time county fair hay bale tossing champion of Iowa. I mean, come on. If anybody knows how to toss a hay bale.
That's amazing.
I've been off sick for 2 years. I sit and watch it on the Universal World of Sport. Dickie Davis is still doing it. But it's just incredible. He'll push people backwards. He can get into the backfield and protect the runners and carve out routes for him to follow. He's a good fit, and I think with him and Zabel coming through then, and Jalen Sundell, Riley Mills, we've got so many young, big players. I think he'd be just an excellent addition to it all. And he's violent, and he's nasty. And that is the type of Seahawks player that I like. I've got a big, violent, nasty hole in my life since Featherstone Rovers went defunct. And so I've got to fill it somehow. And that's the type of player that I really like. And I think it'd do brilliantly.
I like that. But like I said this with Charlie last week, the Anthony Bradford debate will rage, you know, forever, because is he good? Can he be good? He won a Super Bowl, but is that because the players around him, or do you want someone that you can plug into that gap? Jennings Dunker, I love support. I nearly got my mullet cut off today, and then I went, you know what? I am going to wait until after the draft, because if we draft him, it may have to grow a little bit longer for now. I'm a bit gutted that I've got a black backdrop and you can't see I've got some length coming through now. But I love that. He's pure corn-fed, like mid-America, like, a guard. And when you're going to have an O-line with Charles Cross playing next to Gray Zabel, with Jalen Sundell, who Gray Zabel played with in college, was a roommate with, he's got that connection there. Then you'd have someone like Dunker next to someone like, Abe Lucas. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? That'd just be some beef up there. I'd be all for that.
Yeah,
I love that, John. Well done. But first offensive player picked. I like it. Right, Ben.
Okay, I'm going to preface my next two. Just I've kind of picked players I like rather than what will probably be available round 2 and 3. And I've just kind of kept going. I'll just keep going with the athletes. And then as a former edge rusher, I'm going to keep on the line as well. So Cassius Howell, Texas A&M. He is rapid for someone coming off the edge. He's twitchy. He literally, the film that I've seen where he's just past the offensive tackle before the offensive tackles even realise the ball's been snapped. 11 and a half sacks last year at Texas A&M in the SEC. It's not too bad. And I think he's one of those. I think he'll be a good sort of rotation in our pass rush rotation, learning off some that good core that I think we're building. Obviously, I think we need somebody else in with Boy Maffei moving on. And then, I think he's just somebody that's got the tools to sort of become a top edge rusher. The only downside, I think, really is that he's quite undersized. Arm length is a bit of an issue. So there's a chance that a good offensive tackle is going to be able to sort of lock on and hold him away. And if he doesn't win by speed, then he might get locked up a bit against some top offensive linemen in the NFL. Yeah,
again, I wouldn't be opposed to having a speed rusher. I still have these sort of PTSD Vietnam-esque flashbacks of seeing Darrell Taylor as a pure speed and bend rusher, and he went from having a really good season in his sort of breakout, was it his second season, and then he was just non-existent because he had the one move and everyone telegraphed it after that. I'd love to see speed in the rotation because I don't see us as having a lot of that. And when you look at that, the edge you've got, so Jamie Sheriff and Jared Ivey will be fighting it out for that as well. You've then got D-Law, you've got Derek Hall, Nwosu as well. And then it depends if we go for a big end there where you could have someone like, you could have Leonard Williams, or you could move Byron Murphy out there. I think having a bit of speed would do as well. I just don't know how much Mike Mack relies on that because he's always seemed to have had bigger edges. But I'd love to see what he could do with a speedy edge rusher in the rotation.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have different options, especially when you're depending on what sort of offensive line you're coming up against.
Yeah, no, agreed, 100%. Oh, this is going to make this mock draft at the end very interesting when we come to these. So, your third and final, because we're only going to do 3 rounds. Jonas, what have you got?
Yeah, I'm going back to need a bit there because after I think at the end of the third round, and the Seahawks currently don't have a fifth or a fourth and a fifth round pick. So I think this falls off a cliff there, and it's an obvious need, like running back. I got Jonah Coleman from Washington, which will make Bryce really happy because it's one of his favorites. 22 years old, 5'8", 220 pounds, and he's a beast as well. He's a physical runner. He's an angry runner. between the tackles. He's not that kind of like outside zone runner. He's more of an inside zone runner. He doesn't have the speed as K9 had, but he's got other traits you really fall in love with. The Seahawks had him in for a local visit as well. And one thing that you hear from coaches or scouts is the way he handles himself. He's been described as charismatic and very genuine by his coaches, and he's a very good kid. And that's one thing Mike McDonald and John Schneider really value as well. And he's the other thing which really intrigues me with him. He's a very good run blocker, and so he's really good in run blocking, pass protection. And he kind of the other things you have with Jadarian Price and I think Mike Washington Jr. as well. He protects the ball really well. He only had 2 fumbles in his college career. He played 29 games at Washington, and a lot of people look at his 2025 season which wasn't that good because he was injured a bit. But if you look at it at his 2024 season, it's just jumps off the board. I think he had 1,300 yards rushing. He had over 3,000 yards rushing in his college career, and he's a really good. He can catch the ball really well. He had 6 catches of 20+ yards in 2025. So he can be a passing option for Sam Darnold as well, which would be a really good fit in this system. And with K9 gone, he might get a start or be a starter if and when Zach Charbonnet comes back. So I really like him there in that spot.
And no notes from me because John, I believe you were in the same boat as Jonas, weren't you?
Well, I've had enough of following in Jonas's footsteps in the position. So in this time, I thought she was the same person. Exactly. Jonah Coleman. The Jonah Coleman of 24 is almost a different player to one of 25. You look at his stats, you look at his tapes, and he's unstoppable. It's not just yards he makes when he's in free space, but it's the yards he makes with people on his back and by running through people. He hasn't got that electric pace that's going to take him the length of the field every time, but he can shift, and he's got that low centre of gravity. And I've seen that type of body shape in rugby a lot, where the backside is basically dragging on the floor. So they're like a weeble, but you can't knock them over. And
the wobble but don't fall down.
You got it. And that's him. He's almost impossible to put to the deck. And I think, again, in that respect, he'd be an ideal Seahawk. Plus, he's known to the organisation and to the locker room. Apparently, he's big mates with JSN. He goes down to the facility fairly often. And so the familiarity and the fit is right there. Jonah Coleman for me, based on his 24 stats and what he's potential to do, I think it'd be a great pick.
I love that. And we all know sort of since the very infuriating K9 left us after the Super Bowl, after he won MVP, it's going to be weird for me next season. I'm not going to have these players where I can point out my frustrations.
You still have Anthony Bradford.
Very good point. I'll find someone else.
You'll find some new ones, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't like to be negative. But yeah, I think the running back situation is up in the air now. I know you look at Kenny McIntosh is back training now, so he's weight bearing on that leg and starting to really push some tin. You've got your Jacardier Wrights there as well. Yeah. Charbonnet when he comes back. I think we've still got Cam Akers as well, who signed a futures contract with us. So we've got those options, but I don't think having another day 2 or day 3 running back would hurt us, especially someone like Coleman, like John, you said, who's known within the building. His friends already with players. We've seen other people have seen him constantly when he was playing for the Huskies, and this 2024 tape it's night and day compared to 2025, in my opinion. He's just so much more exciting in 2024. But I think that was a lot that was down to scheme as well.
Yep.
But let's get on to the last one. Ben, saving the best to the last. What have you got for us, mate?
So I would have also gone Coleman, but a little birdie told me these two gents are also picked.
So what we're saying in the mock draft, if Jonah Coleman's there on day 3, we're not taking him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Just checking.
Yeah. So I have gone with another running back, which I think is a weird situation for the guy because I think he's the second best running back in the draft, and yet he goes to the same school as the number 1 running back in the draft, which means that we haven't seen as much as him as some of these other guys. But he still, when he gets the ball, has shown out. Like he's got 6 yards per carry on the season. I honestly think he has. If he'd have been at any other school, he'd be the lead back, and he would be much higher thought of in the draft. So that's Jadarian Price at Notre Dame. He's not going to be there in the 3rd round, I don't think. I think
he's going to be first or early second, but still,
Yep.
I love the fact that you've got him in there because I want people to talk about him because I think he's a fantastic.
Well, I also think he could be a good fit because I think some of the rumors when Ken went to the Chiefs was that he wasn't happy with sharing the load with Sharps. This guy's done it his entire college career.
Yeah.
Right? He can. I'm sure he's pretty used to doing that. So I think he'd be a good pick. But yeah, it'd be more first, second round.
Yeah, I think as well when you look at the fact that he was sharing the load with potential number 4 pick in this draft, and how efficient he was in that rotation. When you bring him into the league and he's going to be a rotational back again, change of pace maybe, I think he'd be a fantastic option for us because you've got to think if we draft him in the 1st or 2nd, if say we move up in the 2nd and we get him, he's going to be a starting running back for us until Sharps comes back, and then we start sort of gradually sort of getting him more game time, and I think that'll do him a world of good. I mean, we'll have to see what's going to happen with the new OC, how he's going to play it, because that's all going to boil down to how does he want to play this run as well. You know, with Mike Mack, I think they're quite set on the outside zone, but it's going to be, do the players we have, are they going to fit? And I think Jadarian Price would fit either, in my opinion. Gents, they're very, very interesting selections there. I'm looking forward to the bum fight that's about to happen when we do our mock draft very, very soon. But before we do the mock draft, I'm just going to play this for everyone, and then we'll get straight into it. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone for tuning in. And if you want to support the pod further, why not consider joining our Patreon? You can join from as little as £3. That's $3.96 a month at the rookie level. And that helps keep the lights on here at 12 Talk. Or why not consider elevating yourself to 12-man status? That's £6 per month, so £7 or $7.92. And with that, you also get 1 ticket to our jersey giveaway raffle at the end of the season. Or if you really enjoy what we do here, you can become a 12 Talk MVP. Now, the 12 Talk MVP level is £12. It's $15.83 per month. With that, you're supporting the pod. You get 2 jersey giveaway tickets for the raffle. You'll also get access to our exclusive MVP Fantasy League with a chance to win a prize, a custom-made trophy, and a Discord title. And after 12 months of continual membership, you will get an exclusive 12 Talk t-shirt and patch. We want to say a massive thank you to Danny, John, Gary, Jonas, and Gordon, who have all joined our Patreon so far, and we really, really appreciate you guys. Why not join them? Come and join 12 Talk, get in the Patreon, help us bring even better features to you guys. And as always, let's turn it up to 12. There you go. 2 of those people on our Patreon are on the pod. And then we've got Gary, who's in the comments. Hey, there we go. So thank you so much to everyone. One thing I didn't mention there, the first 12 people, regardless of what tier you join as, you will get an extra raffle ticket for the end of season jersey giveaway. And we'll be looking to do that jersey giveaway in conjunction with 5-star import. So it will come from Fanatics US as well. We're not having any of this screen printed Fanatics UK rubbish on not for our members. No. But lads, Shall we have a bit of a mock draft?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's get you all added back into this one. Here we go. So we're going to be using PFSN because I think it's possibly one of the most up-to-date and informative mock draft models that you can get out there. So we'll only do 3 rounds. I'm going to put it on fast because we're not going to do any trades in this one. As much as we can debate whether we're going to trade back at 32. For the sake of this one and all of our sanity, I think we'll just keep it no trades. And we'll obviously be the Seahawks. We're going to use PFSN's draft board. Okay. So,
wondering who goes first.
I wonder. Let's have a look. Well, let's just reject all those trades, although there's probably some decent ones that have come in there. Right, so let's have a quick look. So we'll go for the top 5. We've got Mendoza, as we all thought, was going to go to the Raiders. David Bailey, the edge, going to the Jets.
Where's Jeremiah Love?
We'll have a look in a second.
He's not going top 10?
No, and then you've got the Browns doing a very Browns thing of trading up to pick 3 and taking Carnell Tate. Arvell Reese going to the Titans for Caleb Downs going to the Giants at 5. Sonny Styles or Ruben Bain. Oh, let's go for the top 10. Ruben Bain at 6 to the Cardinals, obviously traded there. Sonny Styles at 7 goes to Washington, taking over from B-Wags.
Had to see
Jamont McCoy going at 8 to the Saints. Monroe Freeling at 9 going to the Chiefs, and then Mansour Delane going to the Bengals. So we're going to actually strengthen up their O-line, and I'm pretty sure. In fact, no, their cornerback room even. Sorry, I was too busy looking at the O-line for the Chiefs there, thinking I bet Patrick Mahomes would just be on his knees thanking the Lord for more protection. And there you go. Jeremiah Love goes all the way at 12. Should be, yeah.
Who did the Niners pick? The Rams got Caden McDonald. Not the Rams, the Cardinals. They traded back into them.
Right. So let's have a look. At 32 then. 32, our options are.
There's 3 cornerbacks I've heard of before.
Yeah. Let's let the fight commence. We've got Colton Hood, who's still available there. If we wanted to go D-tackle, we've got Kristen Miller, Brandon Cisse still there, Ty Simpson's there, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. CJ Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, and Avion Terrell is still there. And apart from that, D'Angelo Pons is still there. People are a bit scared of the height. And then the rest will be firmly in the second round. So, gentlemen, looking at that draft board there, I mean, I have my preference, but I will allow you all and anyone in the comments to give who they think we should have. Gary, John, let's start with you. John, obviously, you've got your preference, but fight for it.
Still in support of my boy. Colton Hood is up there. I would be happy if he was to come to us at that pick. Terrell, too, very, very good corner. Either of those two, they're fairly interchangeable. I'm not quite so high on Cisse. If I was to look anywhere else, I'd be perhaps looking at Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Warren, the safety. I think he's going to be a good pick at this sort of level. But yeah, I'd be happy if Colton Hood was to come.
Excellent. Ben?
I don't think I'm winning this argument, but I think if you're wanting just the pure athlete, Cisse is your guy. It just depends sort of how you want to build that outside of the defense. If you're wanting to defend speed, he's your guy. Probably the more technical defender is probably Terrell, and then Hood's more of sort of do it all. I think if you had to categorize the 3. So I'll fully understand if we went another way. I think of the 3, if they were all available at 32, I'd go Terrell.
Okay, Jonas, fight for your boy.
I could fight for my boy, but yeah, obviously, I'd like them to take Terrell if he's there. I might go another way, because one thing that's fairly obvious, like the cornerback class is still really deep. After that, you might get a decent corner in the second round as well. Like if you look at someone like Jalen Kilgore from South Carolina, who is like kind of a cornerback safety mix. So I think he's in the 80s somewhere, but so he might fall to the end of the second round. The edge class is pretty deep as well. What falls off a cliff, like literally after the first like 4 or 5 guys in that class, is interior D-line, O-line. So if you look at 32, and if you look at the last year, where like the John and Mike obviously went for Gray Zabel, I might have a look at offensive line, interior O-line. You got Emmanuel Pregnon there from Oregon. You got Jennings Dunker there as well. A guy I really like, watched some tape, and who really grew near and dear to my heart as well, and who jumped off the board who got high on the board for the experts as well, is Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. He's a beast. He's just a monster of a man. He plays with such aggression. He'd be a really good fit as well. So looking at edge and cornerback and the depth there, I might go for interior offensive line. But yeah, that's just my take. I don't know if the guys do follow it or want to go somewhere else.
For me, I do think that we could get interior O-line in the second round. I think, based on the fact that you've won the Super Bowl with Bradford, and I'm just going to piggyback on what Charlie said last week. I'm not going to try and gaslight people into thinking that he is a world-class offensive guard, because we know he's not. But he's serviceable. We won a Super Bowl with him, and also some of his outtakes are comedy. So there you go. If you ever had a bad week, you can just put them on. I'm honestly I'm stuck between two. I am stuck between Colton Hood and Avian Terrell. But if I'm going to break a tie break, I'd say Avian Terrell here, because I think the upside from him is what Mike McDonald will want. If you think he's going to be sat behind Job, Witherspoon, and then you've got Terrell going into that rotation, I think that is smart, tough, reliable. That's the type of player he is. And this is not an autocracy. Are you happy with that, or does someone really fight for Colton Hood?
I think they're fairly similar in so many ways. So, Terrell, let's do it.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Avian Terrell, you are a Seahawk. This is where we see everyone going. All right. So you know what? If I was doing trades, I'd probably accept this. Minnesota have offered us 82 and 97 for 64 and 188.
That's a really long way from 96 to 188.
Exactly. And then, like we said, it falls off a cliff. And Baltimore offered us pick 80 this year and a third round next year for our 64th. But who's there now? So we've got Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle out of Texas Tech. Sam Hecht, the offensive center, but he projected to play guard in the NFL. Tiernan as an offensive tackle, we don't need. Mike Washington Jr. I need to discuss this with you guys, because I am not in on Mike Washington Jr.
Yep.
The ball security isn't there for me, and it terrifies me the way he carries that football.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just imagine if he comes up against someone like Kobe Bryant playing for the Bears, he'd be licking his lips every time he got the ball and thinking, I'm going to peanut punch that thing straight out. So Let's have a look. Go on.
Yeah, and if you look at last year's roster, a strength they had was not turning the ball over, not fumbling, and I think there's going to be, like you said, smart, tough, reliable. The reliable falls into the same pattern as Caleb Banks with this injury. It's the fumbling issues with Mike Washington Jr. So I'm there for that as well. I really like him as a runner. He's really explosive, but yeah, the fumbling issues are just a no from me.
Yeah. And then if we look down here, I mean, Josiah Trotter, I think Rob Staten put down that he's a fantastic watch, and I agree. I've watched some of his tape. But then you've got our man, the Ginger Prince, Jennings Dunker. Yeah, exactly, he's in there. Let's just increase the ginger percentage in this roster. But then we've also got Jadarian Price.
Yeah.
Now, a lot's been said for us spending day 2 picks on running backs, but in that rotation, Jadarian Price I thought was fantastic.
Yep.
And I'm looking at our areas of need again. I think offensive guard, someone that we could trade for. I think it's someone that, they might be happy enough with Bradford. And I hate myself for saying it. But if Jadarian Price is there, do you think there would be that conversation?
I think there'd have to be. We definitely need a running back reinforcement of some description. Price, objectively, is a better running back perhaps than Coleman. I wouldn't expect him to fall that far, to be honest. I think he'll go a fair bit higher. But if he was there, I'd be darn tempted to dive in.
Yeah.
I agree.
Same. So, yeah.
So, are we locking in Jadarian Price for this pick?
Yeah. Is he the really the second running back who's gone, or is there some running back that went before him? Is there?
Love went in the first round, didn't he? And
yeah. After Love, I think he's still there.
I think this sim doesn't like running backs.
Yeah, it mustn't do.
It took Love quite low.
Yeah, if he's there, I totally agree with you. Like the O-line. You have Radford there, but they also got a couple of guys there that they're really high on. So rookies they drafted last year who have been developing under John Banton and could slot in there. And yeah, the offensive line falls off a cliff after the second round. Like once Jennings Dunker is gone, it's like really tough. But yeah, at this position, if Price is there, I definitely pick him. Yeah.
Do you know, it's the worst thing about this year's draft that in most of the years where I've been doing mocks with Mitch and whatnot, and with you guys in the Discord, I can mix it up because there are players that I could see us drafting in the 3rd and 4th.
Yep.
And it didn't bother me. I was quite happy to be interchangeable. Whereas with this, because after sort of, in my opinion, round 2, I think it really starts to fall off a cliff for most positions. I don't think there's any elite talent there. They're all sort of developmental, just roster stuffers. With this is where I would genuinely, if I was in that war room, I'd be going interior O-line and get someone to play for the future, or do we go for that running back that we know is going to be absolutely fantastic? And I think I'd have to reason myself into Jadarian Price. Yep. You all in favour?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it makes it more difficult this year as well that we're not crying out for any particular player.
Yeah.
Like you say, we've kept a Super Bowl winning team, pretty much. Yes, we've lost some good players out of there, but Kenny Walker wasn't consistently great. He was good towards the tail end when he was putting himself in the window, if you want to be cynical. So, yeah, I don't think we're crying out for any particular talent.
I don't either.
It makes it harder to identify players that you really want.
I think John and Mike really believe in their coaching team as well. They're proper coaches that they don't think they just need a plug and play. They believe that they can coach people up into the system. And after a year or two, they can be super effective. I don't think there needs to be a reach. I think it needs to be a matter of, I mean, for me, from round 3 in this, if we pick up any more picks, I think it's just going to be players that they can see as purely developmental.
Yeah.
I think having that starting rotation corner in the first round, I think that's going to be probably top of their list, or unless you get an edge that you just can't say no to. But then we've still got a lot of cap room. There's still trades post-draft. You're going to have to look at cut candidates as well. So I think this is where we're at now. And we've picked a cornerback, we've picked a running back, and with our final pick of this mock, we need to think about where we're going to go, because there's still some cornerbacks on there. I don't think we need a tight end at all. There's Dominique Orange, or Big Citrus, as his nickname is, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. Darrell Jackson Jr. is there. You've got Takario Davis, out of the Washington. Bud Clark as a safety. If they're looking to have someone else that would be able to go into that rotation. But it's a difficult one. I mean, where do you guys? That was going to be my next question. What position do you think they'll be looking at here? And if you're looking at edge, you've got people like Derek Moore, you've got Romello Height, LT Overton, Anthony Lucas. No one of note, in my opinion.
Max Llewellyn has a great
Llewellyn, and I'd be tempted to have a look at him.
It's just a massive reach. That's the only issue. If we're at 96 and then we're looking at someone who's ranked 144 by this draft sim anyway, I think when it gets to third round on such a thin draft, it might be a best player available job, but not a best player available if the best player available is in a position we don't need.
Yep.
Levi's just come in and would you guys trade all 4 picks to draft Love at 11 where Dallas did?
Nope.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
No, he's a great player, but I couldn't sell the whole draft for that.
No.
Because who was it that did that? Was it the Saints that did it? Literally sold their whole draft board.
Yeah.
I don't want to be anything like the Saints. 2027 is a loaded draft, and this is where Mitch is currently licking his lips at that. Do you know, I'd be really tempted by D-line here. Bud Clark, I've watched some of his tape, and I don't mind him as a player. Takario Davis is someone I've taken a few times in these mocks when it comes to late round, if I take someone of a different position earlier. I keep looking at Dominique Orange, just because I'd love to have Big Citrus on our team. Think of the memes and the T-shirts. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, the board has fallen pretty unfavorably here because there if you go BPA, there's players, there's positions you don't really need, and if you still go BPA and ignore the tight ends and the receivers, you got cornerbacks and safeties. We took a cornerback already, and I might throw another curveball here as well, again. And
all the curveballs, Jonas.
Yeah, even though he's a reach at this position, but you got to remember your next pick is when it would be our next pick, 188.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big gap there. If you don't trade it, you might have to reach a bit, and I'd go edge, and a player you skipped or you didn't really go to is Deshaun Barham from Michigan. I really like him as well. He must improve on his discipline a bit, but he's got so much explosiveness and a high motor, and the one thing people say he's really young as well. I think I might have to look it up. He's 22 years old, so he's from Michigan, so there's the connection to Mike McDonald. And the thing a lot of people say about him is that he needs to be coached. And if I have a player with a high ceiling who has the tools to be a good rusher in this case, and who needs to be taught, I think there's not a much better staff in the coaching staff in the NFL to do it than the Seahawks have with Mike McDonald and Aiden Dirty at the D line. He's gonna learn from at the D line from Leo and Jay Reed, and yeah, I would go for edge there, and yeah, I do a bit of a reach for Barham.
He's the sort of player that Aiden would love coaching.
Yep.
Because I mean, he's done it before, Aiden. He's done it at the Cowboys. He's done it with us. He's able to develop a good D line, and that's a guy that has such a high ceiling, but just hasn't shown it enough at college level. I think Aiden would love teaching him. Whether he could get him there, I think it'd take a couple seasons to get him there. That's the problem. You're definitely drafting for the future with a player like him.
Yeah. And you've also got, as was pointed out by John, Max Llewellyn's there as well.
Great Welsh name.
So is he ginger? He looks ginger as well.
Yeah. He's from Iowa. He has to be ginger.
See, there you go. We missed out on Dunker, so why not add another ginger from Iowa?
And he's got a mustache, doesn't he?
He does.
Is this what we've got to round 3 and we're drafting based on mustaches?
We're drafting based on tashes and how ginger they are. That's basically it. But as it says here, he's one of the most productive pass rushers at the collegiate level over the last 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. Mid-round sleeper. I think, in my opinion, because I've watched a little bit on Llewellyn and I've read quite a bit, it's between those two, and it is very much a coin toss. But I am happy for you guys to say what your preference is. Jonas, your preference. I'm going to take it. It's Barham.
Yep.
Go on, Ben.
Yeah, I'll go Barham as well.
John?
I'll go Mad Max.
Oh, see, I'm don't need to break a tie. So, Jay Sean Barham, you are our reach in the 3rd round, sir. So that gives us, they hate this draft.
Yeah.
Avian Terrell at 32 with a B-. So it's a C+ overall draft. And then you've got Jadarian Price at 64 with a B- as well. Come on, PFSN. I can understand the Jay Sean Barham being a D.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think that's bad. We filled up some needs, like you said, because we've got such a big gap between our 3rd round pick and 188. Yeah. I think we've reached there, but we've reached there for potential. Mm-hmm. So there we go.
I think the only way, I know we weren't doing trades, but I think the only way you work this draft well with the draft stock we've got is to trade back at 32.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's one of those where I don't see the value in having such a big sort of gap, personally, the disparity. Yeah. I think 32 would be, John has proved that he's quite happy to trade back in that position. And I think that's something that we could probably see. So we could be waiting up all night watching the draft purely for it to come in and be like, the Seahawks have traded their 32nd pick. And then we can all go to bed and be like, oh, for f***'s sake. But
yeah, maybe there's you get the 5th year option at 32, and the most likely scenario is like there's a team who's going for Ty Simpson if he hasn't gone, because they want to secure the 5th year option. And those teams are like probably the Jets or the Browns who are just stupid. So yeah, you might be able to get a bit more out of there than you actually would have gotten from decent teams. So yeah, and I think as well, if you get a low 2nd round pick there, and if you can load up maybe on a 4th and maybe a 5th, I don't know, to close the gap there. I don't think there's a lot of teams who will be trading up or trading 2027 picks, because the draft will be so good, the class will be so good. Like, John's really protective of those comp picks as well. So I think a lot of teams in the NFL don't go for 2027 picks. So yeah, that's a decent option there. Yeah.
I think just increase those 12 picks.
Yeah.
For 2027. Why not go all in on that year? Because like we said, sort of off wax, we've got aging players that by the end of this season will probably want to retire, or we could move them on because of their age, which means that we can then reload through the draft that way. But gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure. It seems like without Mitch, it's been so few and far between me doing pods, and I love having you guys on. It's great talking to you in the Discord as well. I'm going to start putting up some of the mock drafts that come up in our Discord are going to go on our socials. If you've not followed us, anyone can find us on pretty much every single social media site at 12 Talk Pod. Nice and easy there. That's the same for Instagram, TikTok, X, all of those things. If you've stuck with us, or you've just found us and you're intrigued as to what comes next, by all means, like this video, hype it if you can. I don't know how that works. I think it's just a button. I don't know. It's all alien to me, this now. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, keeps you up to date with everything. And you can then also tune in to the very end of the show to see if we can do this in unison every single week. There's 4 of us this week, and I don't know what the delay's like, but we try this every single week. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Jonas, John, Ben. My name's Josh. This is 12 Talk. And on the count of 3, gents, we're going to give it a big old go Hawks. Thanks to everyone else for tuning in, for being in the comments as well. Until next time, gentlemen. 1, 2, 3.
Go
Hawks!